All right, everyone, welcome back to the long-awaited return to All the Mod 6. We did take a little bit of a hiatus there for maybe a week or so. Nothing too crazy, but I just had to put it on the back burner for a minute. I got into Disco Elysium a whole heck of a lot. I love that game. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we'll really be putting it forward as much on the channel moving forward. I did put a poll out on the channel just the other day to see what you guys were thinking. Hey, should we keep on with Disco Elysium? Should we go back to Minecraft Dungeons? Or should we do a blend of both? And even though we didn't get a whole heck of a lot of votes, the votes that we did get pretty much just pointed us towards Minecraft Dungeons. So that's what we're going to do. I think what we're going to get back on the train of is all the mod 6 or a Minecraft mod pack if we get wrapped up with this series at some point in the future here. And then Minecraft Dungeons for a majority of the time. And then maybe like once or twice a week, we'll throw in a Disco Elysium episode just because I am personally really enjoying it. Or the other route we might go with it is if I stream it over on Twitch, I might just record it and then upload it over here onto YouTube. Don't know 100% sure just yet, but it does sound like we're going back to Minecraft Dungeons, which is fine. I love that game. It's just I was worried that there wasn't enough content there for people to be entertained, but it does seem like you guys are loving it. So that's the plan going forward. Just a quick kind of channel update here. And I know that you guys have been wanting all the mod 6 back. And don't worry, it wasn't over. I would have announced if the series was over. I know sometimes I don't, but typically for those series that are very well-rounded and well-received, I will give the heads up like, hey, this is over. So, but anywho, since it has been some time since we last played all the mod 6, there has been a couple of updates that have occurred. Now, if you're playing along as well, you can see all the different updates that there are. But just to run through a few changes that were made. For one, they added in Tinker's Construct. Let's go over here. So Tinker's Construct, you guys probably know it very well. It was updated for 1.16 finally. I think this might be in beta. I'm not 100% sure. But it looks really cool. Like there's caster chests, like this looks completely different. There's different kinds of anvils that you can utilize. Obviously, all the different kinds of workstations based on the different types of wood you can get. But this looks pretty cool. We might actually dive into it just to test it out, just to see. We are pretty late game, but this would definitely be the way to go if you were starting off. Silent Gear or Tinker's Construct are amazing. They also integrated all the Modium mods into this. So you do have like Vibranium, Unobtainium, and I think that's it. I don't think they actually had all the Modium as an option. If we go down to the next page here, you can see you have Vibranium and Unobtainium. This Unobtainium broadsword is actually not that bad. Almost 300 damage right off the bat with that bad boy. Obviously, you have to get to the point where you have Unobtainium. So early game sense, maybe not so much, but if you're looking for a pretty good sword to take on enemies relatively deep, far into the game, I don't think it's a bad choice. The other thing that they did add in then was... I'm drawing a blank here. Ah, yes, I remember. They added in the Twilight Forest, which is sick. We're definitely getting into this probably in the next episode, though. I already have what we want to do planned out for this episode. But yes, they added in the Twilight Forest. This one might be in beta too, or one or the other of the two mods that I just mentioned are in beta currently. So obviously there are going to be updates that are coming to it. But this looks awesome. I love the Twilight Forest. It's such an old school mod, honestly, but it is... you can't go wrong with it. It's amazing. And it actually does look like you can get an uncrafting table from it if you have the maze map focus, which I don't know if they meant to leave this in. But typically with the uncrafting table, maybe they got rid of what you can actually utilize it for. But you can usually break down weapons through it to get resources from it, which if that's the case, we're definitely going to be checking that out. But we'll have to see here. So those are the two main things that they added in. And as you can see today, probably by looking around here, we are doing some bee stuff. Yes, we are hopping back over to bees mainly for one specific reason. Well, actually two reasons. One specifically though. So first and foremost, we've been talking on it for a while that we want to get back into bees. And I think it's about time that we do that, at least in some aspects. Then the other thing that occurred, if you guys recall, we do have our bee sanctuary down here, and we actually had an automated way of scraping all of these beehives using cyclic auto or item users, I should say. Well, in one of the more recent updates, that just stopped working. I don't know why. It just doesn't work anymore. I was live streaming the other day. If you want to catch the full recap, link to the Twitch is in the description down below. But we were live streaming. I came over to check on our bees and realized that all of these bad boys were filled up with honeycombs and our automated process was no longer working, which is a big bummer. I was a little bit bummed out that that was the case, but honestly, it was kind of the push we needed to move towards different options of beekeeping, I should say. So that is what we did up there at the top. We'll get to that in just a second, but I'm going to bring you downstairs because we did also redo this access area down here. If you guys remember, this was kind of ugly looking. We had like quartz, raw quartz in here. We did have this prismarine, which I do love the prismarine accent down here, the white with like this aquamarine or cyan or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so we have these access areas down here. So pretty much what I have done is I've taken out any of the electrical work, any of the power production or the power moving items through here. So all of our universal cables I removed, and then I did remove the item users from underneath each of these beehives. So what this allows us to actually do then is if we want to, we can just go in manually and come up here and do some scraping ourselves to get those honeycombs. Now, our item collector is still working up here, so this will still collect all of those honeycombs that we are manually removing. But that allows us to be able to do it without having to go in to where the bees are, possibly making them mad, anything like that. So it does provide a little bit of safety here for us to just leave it like that. And as you can see, a lot of these double doors are open right now just because we don't have anything in here. I have removed a lot of our bees out of here, except our RGBs. And again, there's a reason. It's because we got this set up. So we did get this set up on our live stream. This is our very first apiary, which is so cool. It took a little bit of tinkering and understanding to figure out how it works. But you do have the book, which can definitely help you out. And I think we could do sneak view to come in here to go to the apiary basics within your bee book. So there's 4 tiers, same old stuff. So you can move up through the tiers. Each tier increases the amount of combs generated per bee and decreases the amount of time the bee spends in the apiary. So pretty much you just move up through the ranks and it is a higher output of honeycomb on a shorter time frame. This is where it gets interesting. So the apiary can only be occupied by 9 unique bees. And this is where we kind of unfortunately lose out with having just one singular apiary, or what the trade-off is between the beehives and the apiary is that the beehives, you can have, I think it goes up to like maybe 5, 6, 7, something like that, of the same bee type in one beehive producing the same kind of honeycomb, which is awesome. That's what we had for our RGBs. We had about 3 of them in there just cranking out RGB honeycomb. But with an apiary, we can only have 1 RGB in an apiary at a time. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but it does allow you to put a little bit more diversity into the into your setup here, and it is relatively effective, I will say that. You guys can read through more of this stuff. There's ways to import, export. I think if we go back and we go over to apiary and building an apiary, this actually talks on the structure itself. So it's a 7 by 6 by 7. So then the interior is a 5 by 4 by 5 as a hollow box, as you guys see here. And what you can actually do if you really wanted to is you can visualize it. So if you were questioning how it needed to look, here you go. It's going to look kind of weird because it's cycling through all the different possible blocks that you could have. that you could use as apiary building blocks, which is pretty much any block in the game. But that's a useful way to see it if you guys are curious on how you want to get it set up. But this is pretty much it right here. So the way I have it set up is our apiary block is right here. There is a little bit of an interface here once you jump into it. So you do have this import export, which is if you need to automatically try to set up a way to bring bees in or out, or if you're trying to just grab a bee that maybe went into the apiary block, you can just grab them right from here. All you got to do is click on them, and then you hit export, and it'll actually pull out that bee. I'm not going to do it just because we have a good setup going right now, and we have a ton of bees in here. The other block that you definitely need to get going in order to have your apiary set up is the storage. So this is where all the honeycomb is going to be output to, and you actually don't have to come around to the side to access it. You can access it from the front here if you just click on apiary storage, which is pretty cool. And as you saw from mine, I have it just automatically hooked into our refined storage setup. So it's going over to our centrifuge and getting all of those honeycombs converted over into their more useful resources, I should say. And then we made this out of some awesome colors. So we have umbrium planks, which is this nice purple, some glass blocks here, some mangrove planks to add a touch of white, and then we do have our double door setup again, but just with different types of doors. And we come in here, and as I said earlier, it is a hollow space here. And what you want to do for the flooring is place down the blocks that your bees that you want to put in the apiary would utilize to pollinate. So we have obviously lapis blocks for our lapis bee. He just popped out. He's going to come over here and do his little spin job. And then we have redstone, we have gold, we have gunpowder, and we have purpur for our ender bee, which is in here. And then this whole back half is just grass with flowers for our RGB. And then maybe another bee if we put a different one in here, because we only have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 bees in here currently, if I'm not mistaken. Overall, obviously it shows a different amount in here, and I think you can actually have unlimited amounts of bees in here if you really wanted to. You can only have 9 that go into here at a time. So if we really wanted to, we could go down and get more RGBs and just throw them in here, but they would just have to wait their turn in order to get into the apiary itself. So enough talking. I feel like we've been talking for quite some time. I just wanted to recap you guys on some of the stuff that we did. What we're going to do is actually get into the plan for today. So we have one apiary set up. I think it'd be pretty sick to have a second one set up as well. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do, is get a second one up and going. I think it would be really cool. So I could actually show you guys how this gets set up. And plus, I think it adds some nice symmetry to the area up here if we have another one going. I think after we get the second one up and going here, what we'll do is we will then just work to progress up through the different tiers, because I think that would be way more useful than just creating multiples of the apiaries after 2. I don't really think you need 3. I mean, if you get to the point where you have enough resources where you can get 3, then why not go for it? But for us, I think this is the path that we are going to go. And of course, I mess up right away. Let's get this knocked out of here. So we'll do a little bit of building here. I am going to mimic the one that's next to it because I do like the way that it ultimately turned out. You might be wondering why we put the doors on this side. I just was kind of tinkering with it when I was first getting it set up. Really, it probably makes more sense to put the doors here and then put the apiary block on the side. But this also does give us a little bit more wiggle room to work with, I would say. So I like it. I think it's going to be really cool. And then as you guys see, we actually did get some different trees up in here. We do have these serene blossom trees going in here from Quirk. They're very similar to the sunny ones down there, but obviously they are now purple. So we've transitioned from that nice yellow over to a cool pastel purple. I'm loving the colors. I feel like it's just very vibrant, very springtime, very suitable for our bee setup, I would say. So again, this is pretty straightforward to get going. We're just pretty much mimicking over there what we have done. I just got to remember how we set up certain ones, certain parts of it. So we did this, we have our block there, just like so, bada bing, bada boom. Now, really what we could do is we could turn that to glass. We could turn this to glass, which actually I think I might put glass on this one. It just really, really accents it well, and it allows you to look in and actually see your bees moving about. So So I'm leaving blank spots for the machine or the blocks that we need to put in there. We are going to get these placed in just like so. Now this one isn't going to have as many bees in it right off the bat, just because I don't have a ton of bees to populate into this right now. We need to do a little bit of breeding, which is why we are going to actually add in an additional block. And I don't know 100% where I want to put it. I might put it on the side up here so we can utilize it, or we can access it relatively easily. But that is going to be the breeder. So that is another block that you can add into your apiary setup. And the breeder, I mean, it pretty much does what you would expect it to do, which is it allows you to breed your bees. So what we want to do is we want to get this set up, and I always suck at trying to set these up. I think we got to go like that and like that. And that's backwards. Hang on, let's grab that. Our tools are extremely efficient. There we go. So there we go. That should work perfectly. And that's our setup. We should be pretty much good to go. We'll put our breeder right there. Obviously, we need to put some blocks inside. Actually, no, we're not good to go. I completely forgot we need to finish the top. That would be extremely useful because we don't want our bees just to be able to fly away out the top. So what we'll do here, get this set up here, and then we're going to start crafting up the apiary blocks and everything else that we need. All right, cool beans. So we got all that done. We can put all of this away. I have some stuff on me as we progress a little bit more. And we also need some lights in here. And I feel like I don't talk on this that much, but we do have this lighting wand from the lighting wand mod, which is extremely useful in lighting up dark areas. So if we come in here, obviously it's a little bit dark. We can just place this down and it gives us a cool invisible light source. It pops up when we actually have the wand out, but other than that, it does not show, which is pretty much what we want. We don't want it to be visible all the time. You could see where the different ones have been placed down, but you put the wand away and you don't see those particle effects. I think it's great. Definitely would recommend doing it. It has unlimited durability to it, so you can just keep placing them down as much as you want. All right, cool beans. So hopping over to the bees mod here and getting into the items that we need to get up and going. So I've already gone through a lot of these steps. I'm just going to run through a few of them real quick just to let you guys know what you need to do. So you got to start with tier 1 beehives. You're going to need 4 of these guys, and they're pretty straightforward to make. All you need to do is get some grass via shears and put it around a bee's nest. And you can actually craft up, I believe, a bee's nest if you want to, from Minecraft itself. So you don't necessarily have to go out hunting for them, but you see them all over the world. So if you already have a good collection of them, just utilize those. So you need 4 of them. And then you're just going to bump up through the different ranks. So to get to tier 2, you're going to need some honeycomb of any kind, some beeswax, which is what you get from centrifuging certain bees. Keep in mind, it's only certain bees, so make sure that your bee will actually produce beeswax from their honeycomb. RGBs do not produce beeswax because they don't go through the centrifuge. Good thing to keep in mind. Moving right along, to get up to tier 3, you're actually going to need blocks of those beeswax blocks, I should say, along with blocks of honeycomb. Now, if you already have RGBs going, it's a great way to utilize RGB honeycombs is with these and with the one before it where you needed some honeycombs on the side, because more than likely, all your honeycombs are just going through the centrifuge right off the bat. But like I said, RGB ones won't because you utilize them to make different dyes. So this will get you to tier 3. And then moving right along to tier 4, all you're going to need are some honey blocks, which are actually really easy to make. All you need are honey bottles, which you should already be getting from your centrifuge, either the multi-block one or the tiny boy. Either one should get you what you need there. And then once you have 4 tier beehives, then you can move right along and get your apiary up and going. Now you are going to need, again, more of these honeycomb blocks, but if you have RGB honeycomb, you should be set. Obviously, you also need a nether star as well, but that's not too hard to get, especially as you're moving along through the process here. So we actually need to finalize getting to our tier 4s. So all I got to do is get this to tier 3, just like so. And then finally, we'll get our last tier 4s going. Just like so. Wanted to make sure I was prepped for you guys today so we weren't doing a ton of crafting. And then there we go, we have our apiary. Now, keep in mind with this apiary, It's kind of strange because you do want it facing in. If we face it like this is not correct. It's not the right way to go about it. With this little slot, you want it to be on the inside, and I think we do need a pickaxe for this. That is correct. So what we'll do is we'll come inside here, place it like this, and we should be good to go. Now, what you can also do is enable preview if you want to, and this will actually outline the whole entire area. So if we didn't have this up and going, it would just be these kind of gray shaded blocks here, as you can see in some of these gaps. And that'll let you know where you want it. You can also enable offsets and things like that. I didn't worry about it. I think it looks fine just the way that it is. I think you can offset it up or down if you don't want this to be at the level that it is on. But anyway, I think we're pretty much set there. So moving along to the last two items that we need, which is an apiary storage block, which is pretty straightforward. You just need some chests of any kind. Again, more of this honeycomb block, and then a hopper. We actually need two of them because we also want the breeder. And it even says on it, it's an optional breeder that can be added as part of the apiary multi-block. The max breed time is shown there, and it can be upgraded with additional breeders or time modifiers. There are additional modifiers and things like that you can get that go into some of these things, especially the storage. I'll get to that in just a little bit here, because with the storage, it doesn't make too much sense for us because we're outputting it, but I'll show you guys nonetheless. So we're going to get the breeder up and going. It's pretty straightforward, but you do need that additional apiary storage, some flowers, and some empty jars. It's really, really not that hard. So we're going to throw this one right here on the side. As you can see, all you got to do is take your bees in a jar with the respective items they need to breed, and it should get the output that you want. And you can access this from the main thing. I think that's a nice place for it. We can actually mix it up. Maybe we won't actually put it here. Maybe it would look nicer on the back side of this setup here. So let's get some mangrove planks here. Place that there. And then what if we come back here and we just throw the breeder right here on the back side? I think this would be fine right there, because we can access all of that stuff right here from the front. Now, obviously, it's not going to show it to us just yet because we haven't fully completed our setup. The last thing, like I said, is the storage, which goes right here. And then if we come back to the front, we are good to go. We have that interface, and we can jump through all the different attached blocks. So our storage and now our breeder, which is really cool because I definitely want to use this. We are going to need our lapis bee in just a moment here. So the final thing that I'm going to want to do, I think I'll leave our lapis bee over there, but we are going to need to hook this into the output, which I guess we could do later. That's not something we necessarily need to do on camera, but what I'm going to do is just go underneath here and hook it in. I do use these ultimate or ultra importers just because they're extremely quick. And then I guess I'll go over real quick the upgrades to these interfaces or these different blocks in the multi-block. So if we go back to bees here, as you see up here, there's a couple different upgrades that you can get. So you can get different storage upgrades if you really want to. These do just, you have to move through the tiers on them. So, you know, just keep that in mind. And you do have to start with an apiary storage, but this will bump up your overall storage slots within here. Now, again, for us, we're exporting right away, so it doesn't really much matter if we have those in there or not. Then the final two are the breeder upgrade and the breed time upgrade. So we can get the breeder upgrade to add additional breeders to the apiary breeder, which is pretty cool. So additional tiers where we could do some breeding. And then finally, we do have a breed time upgrade, but you do need a gold storage upgrade. So let me get that crafted up. I feel like that would be extremely useful for us to have. All right, so I got it up and going here. It was actually relatively quick to get all set up. So all we got to do is jump in here. We should be able to add that in. Now it decreases our breed time by 300 ticks, which is pretty nice because I think it was relatively high, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it brings it down to about 2100 ticks. I don't know if we can add additional ones of this or not. I mean, I guess we could check real quick. I am kind of curious now. All right, guys, so I got another one up and going here. Let's check it out. Let's see if we can throw a second one in there. You can, so you can actually reduce it by what? 3, 6, 9, 12. You can reduce the time. You can cut the time in half pretty much if you get enough of these breed time upgrades in there, which is really, really convenient because it does take a little bit of time to get everything up and going. So we are running tight on time here, so let's move right along to what I want to do next. I want to grab our lapis bee. All you got to do to get export it is click on it, hit export. I think it's because... Interesting. Okay, so he popped back out. I guess we could just go in and grab him because he's just chilling. He's just doing his thing. So let's just grab him real quick. We need him to get the bee that I want next, which is going to be in here. And that is going to be the diamond bee. This is pretty cool, and we have everything we need in order to get him up and going, or at least we should. I thought... If we look at our ender bee, it did show that you could take an ender bee, a lapis bee, and you have an 80% chance in creating a diamond bee, which these chances are relatively new in the mod itself. I think before it was a 100% chance, but now it's kind of been bumped down. The Draionic bee looks pretty cool too. But let's give it a go. So we have this guy, and we have the nebulous hearts from Enderman. We also have our lapis bee and our lapis lazulis. So we're gonna go to our breeder here. We're gonna throw in this guy with this, and then this guy with this. And then I think we do need a... Do we need an empty one on the end as well? I might need another empty jar. We go to the breeder here, and we throw that. Yeah, you can see it is now progressing. It progresses on the pluses there. So let's just watch this go. I don't think it actually shows anything inside the actual setup. But boy, is it taking its dandy old time. I mean, I would assume this would work. It's just not progressing. Now, what if I take that? Okay, no, that is the way that it wanted to progress towards that. But maybe this doesn't work anymore. I am very confused. Because if we come over here, it does show if you take 4 of these with this guy. If we go into the apiary, okay, no. Breeding. In the beehive, no. I mean, it should work. Because we gave it everything it wants. It has the hearts, it has that. Okay, now it's going. Maybe it was just, it just took some time. So now it seems to be going. I'm guessing that's all it is it just takes a little bit of time to go through it. I mean, I guess to be fair, we do have to have enough of these in here to bring down the overall breed time, which I mean, we could get another one going if we wanted to. I think we have enough resources to do so. Just to bring down that overall breed time even more, which would be really nice. So there we go, bring that there, go back over to here, and it is actually just about done. If we throw that in there, I don't know if it's going to work mid, process, but it is going to try to cut the time down in half. So did we get a B? Question mark? Confusion? I guess we didn't? Alright guys, I had to go through again here and see if it works. So what was ending up happening is it was just popping out an empty bee jar over here. So I'm so confused if we're not doing it right. Like, I don't know on this now. We're gonna try to do it again, I guess. I feel like we are wasting some stuff, but I mean, we got plenty of these hearts, so let's go back over to the breeder. I mean, maybe it's just not a thing. It's not how it's supposed to be anymore. Maybe that's just what it is. I don't know. I'll let it run again. If it doesn't work, then we'll try something different here before we wrap up the episode. All right, guys, I got it. We got it. As you can see here, we have our diamond bee filled jar, which is awesome. So I think what was happening is because If you guys recall when we were looking at that, well, obviously you recall because we were just looking at it. But for the ender bee to breed, it was an 80% chance, so we were probably just hitting on that 20% chance each time, unfortunately. But we do now have a diamond bee, which is awesome. So what we could do is get some diamond blocks. I'm going to assume that's what it needs in order to, yep, it needs a couple diamond blocks in order to be happy. So that's what we could do. We could get some diamond blocks up and going. We could even put it over on this side over here if we wanted to, or we could kind of start crafting out. We definitely don't need 10. Let's get 3 of those going. We could start building out this apiary over here because obviously we got nobody in here. So let's just do this. We are going to, I think I'll put it on the backside this time, maybe, just to mix it up. So we'll put those there, which should be good. But this is going to be a baby, so we'll have to see. Hopefully it's okay being in this. I think it will be. Oh no, it's full grown right off the bat. Okay, so it doesn't come out as a baby. That's actually extremely useful. Actually, I don't know if they do that anymore because it has been some time since I have I've utilized breeding on its own. But we do have our diamond bee chilling out in there, which is awesome. And what we can do then is come back over here and we can get our lapis bee put back down so he can be happy just like so. And then the other thing we can do, like I said, is we could obviously just you know, add in another bee in here. It can't go into the apiary at the same time, so it's going to have to wait its turn. But still, I think it's going to be perfectly fine. It can just float around and do its own thing. And then this guy is going to be in here, and he's going to be outputting us some diamond stuff, which is sick. And we'll loop that guy into the system here in just a minute. There's no upgrades for this interface here, so whatever time is in here, it is what it is until you upgrade the different tiers of apiaries, which if we go back to bees, it does take a little bit of time to upgrade through those tiers of apiaries. As you can see, as you bump up, you can actually output way more, which is cool. And you can actually get to the point where you're using honeycomb blocks instead and really decreasing the modification time. Now for a tier 2, you have to have 4 tier 1s. So you really got to get up through those ranks in order to get that. And if we come over here, look at that. We have our diamond honeycomb. And we're going to loop that into our automated process. But guys, we need to wrap up the episode. We're way over time. But hey, what can I say? Getting back into All the Mod 6, there's so much to do, and I'm happy that we got some more episodes going. You're going to see some more episodes coming out this week as well around All the Mod 6, so don't worry, guys. It was just a small hiatus. But guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, feel free to leave a like down below, or better yet, leave a comment. I do try to read through all the comments and respond where I can. If you are new here to the channel, definitely recommend subscribing and hitting that bell notification because it'll let you know every single time I post a new episode here on the channel. I do stream over on Twitch like I mentioned earlier. Link is in the description down below if you're interested in catching a live stream. And we do have a community Discord set up where I do try to spend a decent amount of time. Don't have all the time in the world, but I will hop in from time to time. And I will post updates over there as well if you do want to stay up to date with anything that is going on here with the channel or with the stream. You can find that link in the description down below as well. But on that, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I think I'm going to have to remove that ender bee because I think he'll leave our apiary. Might have to look into that. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it so very much. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.